Madden 20 ratings are out, which means, Mike, it's time to have a look and see where Madden got it right and where they got it wrong, as judged by our PFF grades right here. Let's first start with the hits, because they've done a pretty good job, man. They've got some impressive players nailed in the right place. I really like that they've got Desmond King with an 86 overall rating, arguably the best slot cornerback in all of football. Madden's recognizing him.
Yeah, not even a starter for the Chargers. Well, technically is a starter the way teams play as much nickel as they play nowadays, but for a slot cornerback to get an 86 overall, usually they're, in the 70s. They're always considered a backup. He is no backup. He is the best slot cornerback in the NFL today.
The next hit we have to talk about is Mitch Trubisky, just a 75, down where we have him. Madden hasn't bought into that Trubisky hype yet either, so Bears fans, somebody else to hate now.
Yeah, the passer rating would suggest he probably should be a little higher in terms of mattering, but the PFF grade would even suggest he might be that 75 might be even a little too high. So I think that they got it right, though. In the mid-70s, they're probably expect to jump and play from Trubisky, but I don't think he's going to be, elite-level quarterback play anytime soon.
The next hit where I think Madden has nailed it, David Bakhtiari, 97 overall, the best left tackle in the game. That's what we've been preaching for a while now.
Yeah, we've said it. He's on a level of pass protection that surpassed what we saw from Joe Thomas towards the end of his career. He is the gold standard year after year. They take a ton of real pass sets there in that Green Bay offense, a lot of drop back passing, and he just doesn't lose quickly, if ever. He is, like I said, the gold standard at the left tackle position.
This next one on the offensive line is one I like as well. They've given Marquis Pansy an 85 overall, which is good, but not great, which is what we've kind of said for his entire career. He's the 7th ranked center in the game, which is kind of where he should be, right? He's not amongst the Pro Bowl elite, but he's a good player.
Yeah, 7th ranked center seems about right in my mind. He is not the perennial Pro Bowl. On this Hall of Fame trajectory to his career, we've never graded him out in that regard. He's always been in that 7 to 10 to 12 sort of range for us, which is fine. But a lot of people here talk about Marquis Pansy as if he's,
right,
in the Tyron Smith, in the just that rarefied air. He is not. He's more in the 85 range.
And then the last hit that I really like from Madden is Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, both ranked inside the top 10 and both basically right there together, almost inseparable. Two very different types of players, but equally devastating for the Bucs.
Yeah, both very good route runners. Both get open at a high level. Both can catch the ball in contested catch situations at a high level as well. So I do think both are top 10 receivers in the NFL. Even though Stephon Diggs, doesn't put up the gaudy numbers, he is about as difficult to guard as any receiver in the league.
What about the misses? This is always a little bit more fun, Mike. Let's go. The one I think that's really going to look bad in a few months' time once we start getting some football action, O.J. Howard is just an 83, 16th ranked tight end in the NFL. This is a guy who's about to have a monster year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over 1,000 yards this year. The only thing really holding him back is opportunity there in the Tampa Bay offense. Was 3rd among all tight ends last season in terms of yards per route. Just wasn't on the field for enough routes. He beat out guys like Zach Ertz and Jared Cook, who had much bigger raw numbers, but he was actually more efficient on a per route basis, was very high in that category as a rookie as well. So I think we're in for a big year from O.J. Howard.
Pass rushing, passing generally has never been more important, but apparently Madden is still rating the run defense pretty highly because we've got Damon Harrison up there, we've got Michael Pearce up there. Pearce in particular, 92 overall, one ahead of Geno Atkins, who is one of the best pass rushing interior players in the league and has been for years.
Well, I mean, if you're just talking about run defense, those guys are elite run defenders, Michael Pearce, Damon Harrison, but overall rating should be sort of a factor of what they're going to bring to the game, and I struggle to say that Michael Pearce is bringing more to the table than Geno Atkins, even at this stage in his career.
Or Chris Jones, or Grady Jarrett, several pass rushing defensive tackles I think should probably be there ahead of Michael Pearce. What else have we got in the miss column? Here's one. Todd Gurley is 7 points higher than Alvin Kamara. Now, Kamara has a higher PFF WAR, one of the highest we've ever seen from a running back, higher PFF grades. He is every bit the running back that Todd Gurley has, just hasn't had, the overwhelming amount of red zone opportunities to rack up a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, even disregarding the knee injury for Todd Gurley, just assume he's fully healthy. This is still absurd. Alvin Kamara last year was 4th among all running backs in terms of yards per route, and the 3 guys ahead of him were basically just pure receiving backs. He was really he was the top, sort of bell cow running back in terms of yards per route, way ahead of Todd Gurley. He averaged, Alvin Kamara, 2.12 yards per route, Todd Gurley 1.36, and that's in a pretty favorable scheme there for the Rams that gets him the ball in a lot of screens, that sort of stuff. Alvin Kamara is as good as it gets as the receiving at the running back position, and he can run the ball between the tackles at a high level as well.
So the last couple of misses we want to talk about. C.J. Mosley, 87 overall, 5th rated linebacker, never earned PFF grades commensurate with that kind of figure.
Yeah, the highest coverage grade he's earned in a single season is 78.6 overall. That's nowhere near the Luke Kuechly's of the world, the Bobby Wagners of the world. And to put him sort of up in that category of, of the higher level linebackers in the NFL, that's just not who he is. That's never been who he is. I know he got the contract similar to that as well, but that's just, a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. He's not one of them.
Right. The last couple of guys, they're players that, PFF has pushed against that overall perception for a while. And the last one, I think, is Xavier Rhodes of the Minnesota Vikings, up with an 86 overall Madden rating. I mean, when was the last time we saw Xavier Rhodes play at that level, if he's ever got there?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is he's coming off his worst season probably of his career. Had a 55.1 coverage grade last season, allowed 65% of his targets to be completed just on a per snap basis. Was as bad as he has been over the course of his career. And yes, we've rated him lower than probably a lot of other people because of the penalty issues that he's had over the course of his career. But even last season, just the fact that he was not covering at a high level, also not something that we like in his favor. So, yeah, I don't see him being a top 20 cornerback in the NFL where they have him graded right now.
And those penalties are also things you have to bear in mind. It's often where cornerbacks can hide a lot of bad coverage. They don't show up in your coverage stats, but they're oftentimes bad plays that you recover essentially with a penalty and hide away that negative. So there we go. There's 5 hits and 5 misses from the Madden 20 ratings according to the PFF grades. Make sure you hit like, hit subscribe. It does us an awful lot of good. And check out the rest of our YouTube content elsewhere in this channel.